What's up, guys? Midnight Sun here to talk about why you should be playing Last Epoch, and in particular, why now is the perfect time. Let's start with a little background into the game. Last Epoch started as a Kickstarter project made by people who love games, and in particular the ARPG genre. They grew tired of sending feedback to other game studios with no response to their suggestions and created 11th Hour Gaming, or EHG for short. Now, why is this important? Well, it means that the people who develop Last Epoch not only want you to like their game, but are open to your suggestions and have taken active steps to listen to them. This means that if at any point you want to give feedback or report a bug, go over to the Report a Bug feature, select what it is that you have to deal with, enter a description, hit submit, or hey, look at that, they have some gameplay questions here, join our Discord. So if you have any questions about the gameplay or anything that you want to suggest, go ahead and join their Discord. Now, when the game first came out in beta, they were working and releasing extensive patch notes to it to fix the key issues in their game. When players found an issue in Last Epoch, they gave a response. If something wasn't fixed in the first patch, they would let the player know they were going to fix it in the next one. So if you look at their website and you go to the patch notes section, you can just see how much patch notes were in this predate, what was in the game beforehand, lots of beta and alpha, even pre-alpha patch notes for this game. We could see that the year they started working on them. And even today in the current season, we can click on their latest hotfix and they give you a description of, hey, what went different? And then people can comment on there and how they feel about the patch notes as well. EHG worked fairly hard in getting their first season out and introduced some much needed quality of life and bug fixes, as well as a new mechanic in the game for farming items called the Nemesis bosses. So as you can see on my screen here, I have a Nemesis at the bottom. I'm going to make my way over to it, click on it, and I can hover over the item to see what I would get. In this case, I'd get the Doublet of Onos Toll, which gives me 83 health, minions have 73% chance to bleed on hit, and minions have 74% increased bleed duration. Now, if I wanted to, I could empower this to make all of these items more worthwhile or rewarding. I can challenge it right now and say, hey, yeah, I want this item right now, go ahead and give it to me. Or I can banish it, which I'm going to do this time. And now the next time I encounter a Nemesis, it should have changed. Also included in that season was the Forgotten Knights Foundation, or faction. So if we click on this, we see that we have our Harbingers. Now I've already defeated one of them, and if I continue to defeat more Harbingers, I'll get more rewards, or fight the Pinnacle Boss, Aberoth. So we can see that already I get a 40% chance for Nemesis items to include an Egg of the Forgotten. As I continue to rank up, I'll continue to get more and more rewards from this endgame faction. Now, most people who play ARPGs are probably familiar with seasonal and legacy characters. A legacy character maintains access to all of your previous characters and their stashes, and they don't have any leaderboards. A season offers a fresh start in a new environment, and leaderboards are reset. This way people can compete to see who's the first person to reach level 50, the first person who defeats the final boss Aberoth, or perhaps the first person to complete the campaign in some of these games. Leaderboards are exciting and they offer some good content, but something else to keep in mind with Last Epoch is if I click this seasonal character, I should get access to all of the seasonal content. So if I go over here and select my class and, whatever I want to call it, I can go ahead and continue that. But also, if I go over to my legacy characters, we can see that I have a few of them that I was going to start, and one or two that are actually pretty decent and gotten pretty far in. Let's go ahead and click on my guy Blade here. So despite the fact that a seasonal content offers you a fresh start, you can also access a lot of the seasonal features available in a legacy character. So this was something that was added recently into the game. And if I go over to my Respect Blessings, this was also something that was added relatively recently into the game. all of these quality of life changes are available on legacy characters as well. Now, the devs said that they might change that at some point when they get some exciting, short-term things. But it's really nice to see this here. This is something that was just introduced this season, which is to respec masteries. So previously, this Blade Dancer that I am currently playing was a build in the game where we take a marksman skill detonating arrow and fire off a lot of explosive traps and various other things. Now, that build is currently not possible, so I can only respec it, and it's a good thing that they allowed me to do it, because otherwise I'd be stuck with a Blade Dancer that I don't want. So, the game offers a reset or a new season every 3 months to keep the players grinding and striving to be the quickest to get to their goal. Now, most games, when releasing a new season, will do class balance adjustments and introduce some new items and seasonal themes. This gives players something new to shoot for, some exciting new content, and is really kind of important because a lot of these ARPGs start to get pretty boring after a while. You end up doing the same thing over and over again. So at the very least, a fresh start in a season makes it so, hey, something new to look forward to. Now, Last Epoch does this better than most games, in my opinion. Now, they have only had, 2 seasons so far, but the reason I think they do this better is because they tend to focus on quality of life adjustments. They play the game themselves, so they know what they themselves dislike about their game. When they, have struggled with dungeons and, dying in the dungeon, wasting keys, finding keys, or hey, maybe their end game gets a little bit boring, they strive to make it better. They strive to let players know, hey, we hear you, we're working on it, we'll get there. Something else that makes Last Epoch really exciting is their base systems that they have in the game and how players interact with them. If we take a look at the skill system, currently I don't have very many things unlocked, but I am able to view some of the skill trees. We could see that as I navigate my way through here, I can select some things to add some poison to this skill. I can go over here for a kinetic burst on kill, move over to the left here, get some attack speed. This one gives me more mana cost, but it's now a channeled ability. So their interactions with the skill systems are truly diverse, and they make it really exciting because your standard skill doesn't just stay the standard skill by getting new gear and, okay, well now it shoots flames or now it does this. You actually interact with it in the skill menu, and as you continue to level up, you get more and more skills. So let's take a look at what a character that's got a couple of these complete looks like. Okay, so this is currently the highest level character that I have, calling him Bogod, and he's a level 84 Falconer. So if I go and look at the skills of this character, we see that I've got, 22, 23, 22, 22, 21. Now, the reason that these skills are different is because of some items that I have equipped, which, let me pull that up, which gives you +4 to falconry, +1 to dive bomb, +3 to aerial assault. So some of these items are changing how many skill points I get. And then within it, if I go and take a look at one of my main damaging skills here is Umbral Blades. Now I started off going here to the left. This gives me Dusk Shroud chance. This makes it so only one blade will be thrown, but I get more damage. Let's see, this one over here makes it so the blades spin in place. This one makes it so they last longer and deal damage in a larger area, and then seeking out enemies. So as I'm going this way, I'm getting more damage. It's changing the skill a little bit. But then if I go up here, we see that, let's see this one right here, Explosive Blades. Blades in the ground now arm after 0.5 seconds, but can no longer be recalled. Umbral Blades has less attack speed. If enemies walk over them, the blades will cause a shard explosion. So this adds some explosions to it. And then I can buff that up even further. Over here, I get something to add cold damage to the skill. So this is a truly diverse system where players can come in here and know nothing about the game, but select these nodes and have them interact with each other and create a build of their own. It's not too complicated. There's not a lot here, and it's just a matter of reading some of these things. And then I can also have the passive system. So when we start out in your main class here. This is the rogue. We could see some of the passives that I've got here. And as I spend points in the passives, I unlock these abilities. So if I go over to marksman, we see that there's a lock point. This giant lock right here makes it so I cannot get the Heart Seeker, which is a very fun class to play this season, or the Hail of Arrows. But I can unlock Dark Quiver and I can unlock Multi-Shot if I wanted to play that for this build. Now my main tree here is of course the Falconer, and we see that I unlocked Aerial Assault and Dive Bomb, which are two of my main skills and why I needed to play the Falconer class. Now, Last Epoch also offers endgame factions, and where I'm currently at is in one of the endgame faction locations. This is the Circle of Fortune, which is a really fun faction for people who don't have friends like myself. As you can see, I can go over here to this little telescope, and I can look at what I will get for a reward and the condition for it. So this says if I kill the deaths of exiled mages in a monolith with at least 300 corruption, I get these 10 minor Ligonian idols. I can get some affix shards over here. This one is specifically a movement speed affix shard. And then on the left here, I have these lenses, which alter some of the stuff that I see in here. Now this one's just mainly the idols and stuff. If I go down here, I can get some rings and amulets. Over here, I get various weapons, and up towards the top here, I can get various armor types. So I currently have one in here to boost the chance of finding uniques because I need some unique weapons and items and stuff, so that's what I'm target farming. You can see that my rank and reputation is currently at 8, and if I go over to the faction tree, it's currently in the Weaver tree, I can go over to the item factions and click on the Circle of Fortune, and I can see what getting rank 8 gives me. This is uniques are twice as likely to have legendary potential. So every single time in this game, you can customize the experience to how you want to play. They give benefits to solo players. They give benefits to people who have friends and are able to actually go out and play some games with them. They give benefits to people who want to farm gold, right? So they really diversify all of the systems in this game, which makes it so you can customize your experience. And currently, one of the best endgame factions is the Weaver. And the Weaver in the Weaver tree is an endgame faction. So I'm going to go over to the Black Sun timeline. And I'm going to show you what I currently have for my Weaver tree. Let's go to my rank and reputation here. Now you can see I've hardly interacted with this, but if I go over to the Weaver tree, these are the things that I currently have put in. So I've got some stuff in here for target farming, which I unlocked the nodes for it. And then if I go down to the bottom here, I've even got some stuff for loot lizards. So in my maps, I get more loot lizards, and I'm trying to buff up some of these other areas. Now, if you're a player and you say, hey, well, I don't really care about loot lizards, you know, I want to go over here to the left and I want to fight some champions. So go ahead. This is a custom experience for you. It's how you want to play the game. It's how you want your end game to be. Make it as fun and exciting as you want it to be. So this is one of those special things I was telling you about. It's the Antipode Rift, and it says to travel back to the ancient era and destroy whatever created the Antipode Rift. Always drops a unique piece of armor, place at the altar of the Weaver, and complete echoes to earn 1 Weaver tree point. So as you continue to go through these, you find more of those, and they unlock new special ways to customize the game, which makes it more exciting. You can add a little bit of controllability to what you find, what you want to farm, and it also gives you some points for their endgame factions and new custom ways to play, which I think is a great way for any game to introduce, you know, this kind of feature. Looks like I need to tweak my loot filter a little bit. I'm getting a little too many items at this point, but you know, we can always scrap them, which is why we're going to talk about our endgame faction or our endgame crafting system next. So let's see if we die to this guy or not. He's killed me a total of, I think, like 9 or 10 times so far on this character. And it is also one of the reasons why my hardcore character died for the first time too, so I don't like this guy. All right, good explosion of loot there. So here's where we get to put in our little things. We can see all the various areas I can put them in. I can go through and check out what requires, you know, a minimum corruption level, or which is the normal thing to put in here. So in this case, you know, hey, that sounds actually really fun. Let's go ahead and put it in. It's added a new island, and then I can continue to make my way towards the island and play it out. The next thing I want to talk about, which is really kind of unique to this game, is their crafting system. And if we see over here, we notice that the idols, right, don't have a way to be crafted. I can put them in here, but I can't forge idols, as the game kindly lets me know. So the idols are a separate system, but almost any other item in the game, aside from uniques and legendaries, can be put in here, and you can craft them to your heart's content. And even within these idols, we see at the top here, I've got some that I kind of crafted on with a special system that they've added into the game called Weaver's Will. So let's take a purple item. See, this is something that a primalist wears, which means it's entirely a different class. So this should be something that is absolutely worthless to me unless I plan to make a primalist. But if I bring it over here into the thing, the forge, I can see the prefixes on the left and the suffixes on the right. It tells me I get health, physical resistance, increased aspect of the boar duration, minion health regen, and River's Champion sealed affix. We can see that if I look over here, that's exactly what these things are. Now, if I wanted to, I could, let's say I wanted to wear this item. I can upgrade this health because I have 66 health shard affixes. Well, how do we get those? Well, we use either a rune of removal or we use a rune of shattering. So let's go ahead and shatter this item. See that I got that aspect of the boar and a health shard. So now if I go and put a new item on here, let's see if we can find something decent. Go ahead and do this. You see that now I have 67 health shards. Now I can also do this with the rune of removal, and it will randomly pick one of these things to remove. Let's go ahead and hit it. We got the health. We got 3 health shards. Do it again and again. This time I got all 4 of them. It's just a safer way to make sure you get the most of each of these shards. Now, why is this important? Well, I was putting in the purple items, which tend to have higher rarity rolls. We see over here that this has got a T6 lightning damage on it, which is really high. So if I shatter this, I get more lightning damage shards, or a higher chance of getting lightning damage shards. Well, what about the yellow items? Are they worthless now? No. We put them in here. We say, hey, there's some of that health we want. There's some block effectiveness. Shatter it, and we get some of those shards. What about gray items? Right? This thing's got absolutely nothing on here. It's got some implicits, but nothing really good. If I shatter this, it's going to give me nothing. Okay, well, what if I go over here and look at some of these other things we got here? I've got a rune of discovery. I'm going to put that on there. Boom. 4 random affixes. In these case, pretty rare affixes. You can see I've only got 2 of this crit chance and bow attack speed. I've only got 7 of this chance to poison on hit and 14 damage over time. 20 is alright for this. But now that I put that in there, I can go ahead and shatter it right away. And I get some of those items back. So this system allows you to actually take use of the gear that you would discard. It makes you actually excited to even find a gray or a blue quality item that's got something worthwhile in it. And I absolutely love this stash space and how they organize it. But this is my kind of tab where I just throw in things and dump whatever I want to until I'm ready to use them later. Here I've got plus 14 throwing damage, which is something that's very crucial for my build. We have increased health. We have some melee physical damage, which is great. So even these blue items are something that I absolutely want, and I put them in here to shatter them later. I put in some of these experimental affixes, which is another way of interacting with things in the game. So the game is just filled to the brim. Look at that, I accidentally took off my chest piece there. Filled to the brim with unique ways to play and ways to make certain systems that were a pain in other RPGs fun and exciting. I truly think you guys should give Last Epoch a chance. It's $30, which is not a lot at all. And in my opinion, I can't remember the last time I paid $30 full price for the game. If I paid $30 for a game, it was because it was 50% off on Steam or there was a great deal on it. Last Epoch does a great job of delivering so many things for you to do with that $30. Their endgame system, if I zoom out here, you start on one of these islands and you continue to go through all of the other ones. You go to the next one, the next one, the next one. You get up here to the final ones. This empowers them all. And then you go through these empowered versions to get better blessings and better gear. And you have your Harbinger system. There's a final boss, Abroth, in here. You have your endgame system over here with the Haven of Silk. You have item factions. There's dungeons that you can do in the game as well, and you can keep running those for certain dungeon-specific things. This, for example, over here is Temporal Sanctum. If you run Temporal Sanctum, it's your endgame crafting for your unique items in the game. So I'll go ahead and come over here and pull up my stash. And if we look at my endgame unique tab and stuff, you see things that have legendary potential. Currently, my bow is already a legendary item. The reason I made it a legendary item was taking something with at least one legendary potential and combining it with another item that's purple, that's got all of the things filled out, and slamming them together. That took one affix from that and put it on something else. So in this case, my bow, I didn't get a good roll on it, and I did it early on in the game. If I look at my chest piece, plus 10 dexterity is exactly what I wanted. Plus 8 dexterity on my helmet is exactly what I wanted. This throwing damage is huge for my relic over here. For my boots, you know, I didn't really have anything too good for that, but I was dying a lot, so I put that in there. And then some poison resistance. I got this from a nemesis, and it rolled random poison resistance on it, which I'm happy with. So each of these dungeons offer a unique way for players to come to them. They encourage you to come to them, and they make it, you know, unique. In this case, the Temporal Sanctum dungeon, you go through here, and you know, let's try out a little bit of it. Let's put it in key. We have different difficulties. I'll go ahead and just do the standard one.
Intruders? A waste of time.
And you see how I just shifted through reality? As I come through this dungeon, I'm going to run into these barriers, and when I shift realities, some of the barriers go away, and I can just continue on. Oh, this one's got both of them. Okay, no problem. I'll just go another way and see if I can find my way through. There's a barrier that way, but there's something over here that I want. I'm going to go ahead and grab it. Teleported right to the entrance to the next floor. That was rather exciting. I don't like going through some of these dungeons, so that's a pretty happy experience. So I usually go for a lot of those little things, which previously... Ooh, there's a champion here.
Not easy. Too easy.
Now, I am a level, 84 and a level 55 dungeon, so it should be relatively easy for me to kill all these monsters, so it's not surprising that that champion went out in such a pathetic way. But he'll get me next time, I'm sure. Oh, this is a good way to go. There's one of our little guys over here. Let's see if we can get lucky. Alright, I'm fine with flat damage too. So I'm going to continue navigating through here, running into all of these goblins and stuff, or loot lizards is a really fun experience. The whole game is just constantly throwing stuff at me where I'm never disappointed, and I'm always excited to find more and more things. It's probably the longest I've ever played an RPG continuously without getting bored. And it's going to continue to get better. The people who have developed this game are going to continue improving and listening to feedback. So the more people that try this game out, and the more who say, hey, you know, I think your dungeons are a little boring. Let's go ahead and fix the dungeons. Or it really sucks when you die and you have to restart the dungeon all over from the beginning again. Or, hey, you know, your boss system and stuff like that is not that exciting. Let's add some more pinnacle bosses. It just constantly does things to, you know, let them know what they need to work on. I love this boss fight here because I can just, I'm like, go away, teleport, teleport, teleport. A super fun mechanic. Okay. So we're in our little slam thing over here. Let's see, there's the ring that we got here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this ring in. And let's see if we've got another ring to put in there. There it is. So as you can see, the best thing that we can get here probably is that increased poison damage in terms of the highest rolled thing, but maybe we want cold resistance or physical damage. Go ahead and write down in the comments what you think it's going to be. I'm going to go ahead and guess that this is going to give me, well, I'm going to say cold resistance. All right, let's see if you guys got it right compared to me. So we put it in there, we teleport, and then we check it out on the other side. What do we get? We got the poison damage. All right, we got the T6. Pretty exciting. So that's basically the gist of Last Epoch. That's pretty much all this game has for now. And the devs are going to keep developing this game. They're going to keep making it better and better. I know I'm saying that a lot. That's because I want you guys to know, if you don't like the state the game is in now, come back in 3 months. You know, you'll find an entire new systems to work on. You'll find new class reworks. You'll find that they've added more items in the game. You might find new mob types. You might find new endgame factions and new boss monsters, Uberith monsters. So, I guess we'll go ahead and leave the video there with my bird flying around, scouting out the area. Have a good one.